What's going on? Is seed talk stuff to make you see what? Whoa. What's up? I got Precious here. I got Wayman on witness protection. He's wanted. He's come on, man. I gotta get this guy a Halo light. I really do, man. This is getting ridiculous. The production value is going at an all-time low. Um, anyways, this seed talk, you know how we do it. We're gonna be discussing some pretty sensitive information tonight and topics and whatnot. I want to really ask y'all to share this video, please, and comment. If you're on YouTube in the universe, please make sure that you are subscribing and getting those notifications and whatnot, and sharing it and commenting and sharing and subscribing and doing all that. And also please make sure you donate. Please donate to Seed Talk, Cash App, Logic I'm in, Venmo at Logic I'm in. Wayman is trying his hardest to get into Genesis mode, where God said, "Let there be light." But unfortunately, he is in the depths of hell and will not be getting a biblical verse today. So, anyways, let's get to our topic, man. You know how we do here on Seed Talk. We like to talk about things that are going on in pop culture and then put a community twist on it. And this P. Diddy stuff is coming up. So I want to ask people, out there, what y'all think about the P. Diddy allegations? Now, I'm not necessarily talking about, do you think it's true or not? I want to really talk about, how do you know it's true or not? And there's no reason to think that it's not true, because we've been hearing things about P. Diddy for a while. And I'm not going to turn this into anything about his sexuality. I don't think it has anything to do with it. Not for me, it doesn't. Maybe other people do. It has everything to do with consent. It has everything to do with abuse. And it has everything to do with assault for me. I don't care what your sexuality is or your preference is. But, when we're talking about protecting the most vulnerable in our community and holding people accountable, that's what I want to know. I want to know, how do you protect the most vulnerable in your community, however, at the same time, hold them accountable? Because I'm going to get straight into it. How many times have you been in a situation out there, people, where you protected someone who's being abused and a target of harassment, intimidation, or bullying, especially when they're in intimate romantic relationships, and then end up going right back into the relationship with them? And then sometimes when you help out these people, it gets you entwined in this spider web. And then, I didn't heard stories of people, I posted this and they said, I'll never do that again. When we're talking about in regards to helping out someone who's abused and or being harassed, because they said it just backfired, and saying that, the dude, start harassing them, coming to their work. You know what I'm saying? And I know there's been situations where homegirls, will get their homegirls to help them and support them. And then they go back to the dude, and then that messes up the relationship with their homegirl. Like, man, I didn't help you and sacrifice this, that, and the third, and you gonna go back with dude? But I think a lot of people don't understand the psychology and the infrastructure of abuse and how it functions. So that's what I really want to talk about. And I also want to talk about the possibility, I don't think it's a reach, of people getting into relationships with people who are known abusers, who they know are abusive, just to tally up stuff, and then try to settle it. And I think that's sad that we're in a position where, just like we have people who are professional groupies who intentionally get with a person to have a child so they can, get that financial, stability and payout. Or we also hear those stories about those people who intentionally go out in public, confront a wealthy person to provoke them and trigger them. As soon as they do something, hit them or go sideways, they want to sue them. We hear these stories quite often. So I don't think it's a reach for people to knowingly go into a relationship with a known abuser, thinking, "Hey, man, uh, if this cat do something, I'm gonna be, keeping score, and then, what I'm saying, I can just, settle." I mean, I got the obvious answer for that, question, but I want to start with Wayman, man. Since you're on witness protection, we don't know at any time this podcast could be interrupted on your end because they could be getting a warrant if they find
Oh
out
my
guilty.
god.
I want to go with you
Oh my
first, man.
god. Oh my god.
Wayman, are you on mute, bro? I can't even hear you, bro.
I'm here.
Okay. What you think about this whole Diddy situation and
I'm
protecting
still.
the
I'll be honest.
abused?
I'm still learning. I'm still learning more and more about it. I don't know what allegations exactly have been made towards Diddy, to be honest. But we have to remember that these are celebrities. Celebrities have
Mhm.
been and always will be fair game.
Right.
And if you establish, and as I spoke with you earlier, if you establish a reputation as an abuser, you establish a reputation as somebody who likes to put their hands on women, then there's going to come a time where you're going to be a target for somebody who approaches you like, oh man, da, 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 da. Then get with them, and it seems like everything's rosy in the sun. Next thing you know, you wake up not only in your bed by yourself, but you wake up and seeing your new lover on the news talking about you whooped them up.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
The
Precious,
main
you want to go into some of the allegations? Because by the way, Cassie got a settlement. So,
She did.
oh
according to the news reports that I've read, Cassie got a settlement for a whole bunch of $1 million, probably like 20,
jeez,
30 or something like that. Something
Yeah.
crazy. Some
see,
crazy amount.
see,
Whatever it was, it was a nice. It was a nice.
Yeah.
I don't
You
think
wanna
they
go over real
ever
quick?
revealed the real amount, but that was the asking price was 30 million.
Oh, okay. Okay. You do you remember some of the stuff that I can kind of add on to,
In
what you
terms
say?
of I heard a few things. I'll start with the Cassie since that's kind of the hit one, the top one. There has been allegations where he will have forced her to have sex with other men in front of him while he is recording, and of course
wow,
he is jacking off to it.
Whoa, whoa.
wow,
I'm telling yeah. Look, you asked
Oh.
me. I'm telling you exactly what was in it. It was a lot of sexual abuse that was going on. There was also things that she tried to get away from him a few times, but he would send his goons to go find her and bring her back to him.
Mm,
There's that type of stuff. It was like a long list of stuff. That's why I know it kind of stuck out to me the most. There was some other allegations outside of Cassie that I have heard. Like I'm not sure how. Again, I don't know if she could. Again, these are my first time hearing it. There was one that he apparently stumped a woman because she was pregnant with his child. He stumped baby. They say he literally stumped the baby out of her. They would not reveal the name of this ex, but apparently she was on the list.
mm.
Yeah, it was a whole lot they came out with. It was a whole lot of stuff. I know they mentioned something about Kid Cudi.
Oh, I heard.
I
Yeah,
heard
they
about that.
said
They said
that
that
was
was part of it. I'm not sure that part of allegation he'll get compensated for, but they were talking about all the other stuff that he had been
that.
involved with. But
Yeah,
that's
the kid cutting thing is crazy.
that
And
is real
these
crazy.
are
I'm like,
all like
how?
these are all uncomfortable smiles. It's not something like I condone or anything. I like to. It's a reaction. Sometimes you have those uncomfortable laughs or smiles or something like that. It's not something like but it's just so crazy. You kind of got to smile and giggle a little bit because it's
there
hard
you
to even
go.
trust that it happened. So I guess Cassie started dating uh Kid Cudi allegedly, and
Yeah, I think I
Sean
think he
Puffy
said something
Combs
to her.
allegedly Sean Puffy Combs allegedly blew up his car.
What the hell?
Yeah. They're saying this dude blowing up cars, man. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, they also
it's
said that
it's a long list of stuff.
he said he also had like getting her medical records sent to her, sent to him, you know, so he could, you know, check on her medical records and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a really long list of it. And there's some other
I
people
mean,
that's
what
getting
the hell is
involved
this?
in it as well. I
I mean,
should
is
laugh
this
at
making the
this.
band or is this Goodfellas? I mean, what the hell?
There ain't no damn telling. But as Carmelita said on her post, it kind of not. She said about how Diddy. You remember how Diddy made him go walk all the way to Brooklyn get that cheesecake? It kind of makes me wonder, wow, what the hell he was doing in that house while they were walking to get
That
that
was Ghost
cheesecake,
Note.
strengthening
Maybe
up
that
them
was Ghost Note.
calves. And I find it interesting that 50 Cent is trying to create a surviving Diddy. I'm not sure if he's serious, but hey, 50 Cent been in his game, been in his bag when it comes to these shows lately. So I don't put it past 50 to come up with a documentary on Diddy. Because apparently, word was Diddy offered to take 50 shopping when he first came out. I should have laughed at it, but he was like, "Why the fuck this nigga trying to take me shopping for?" But Diddy said he thought he needed some clothes, so I want to shop him for some clothes. I'm like,
Yeah, I thought that was funny. I think that's
I
pretty.
thought it
I
kind of
think that's
funny,
pretty
but
okay to laugh at. Just, I think it's funny
It's okay
because
to
it's,
laugh at.
huh?
None of this is okay to laugh at.
it is. But it's like what?
It's not okay to laugh at 50 Cent saying he thought it was a little weird that Puffy wanted to take him out for shopping. That's totally appropriate to laugh at. Yes, absolutely. Especially if you hear 50 say it, it's just like what he's
Yeah, I was
implying.
like what?
like,
Like some of the stuff
like you
that
trying to
I'm
date me or
hearing.
something. Like, I don't know. I think it's also kind of funny
I'm
is
not
because
surprised. I mean, come on, we all know
I think
that.
it's also I think it's also kind of funny because it's like, why is your sensitivity so you know what I'm saying? So high when it comes to Diddy or just any man saying taking you shopping. I guess that means something different.
Yeah, it
How he
means
said
some
it.
gangsta-licious homies over host stuff.
That's what you would be thinking if I say, "Hey man, Wayman, I want to take you out shopping and get you some podcast, you know, equipment." You be thinking that I was trying to hit on you?
It depends on how you phrase it.
Yeah.
You never say you're taking another man out.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's all in how you phrase it.
Yeah. You
Hey,
know, at
let's go ahead. Hey
at
man,
one
let's go
time
hang out and get this podcast equipment. Hey, let me take you out.
I was
You
at
see the
hey, well, I
difference?
remember one time I was at the gym, man. We had been playing basketball. We was hooping and it was done with the session. Me and my homeboy, it was like the first and second time he went to the gym with me. And he didn't go to the gym that many times with me. That's why I'm bringing this up. And I was like, hey, man, you know, when the game's over, man, you know, you want to go, you know, hit the sauna, man. You want to go jump in the hot tub. He was like, bro. I was like, what? Is it something I said? Like, what is we're at
Yeah.
a gym. Like, oh, man. Some people's you know, gay sensitivity is just not necessary. It's not even warranted.
It's all in the way you phrase it, brother. It's all in the way you phrase it.
But you know, getting a little bit more on topic and stuff like that. Wayman, I wanted to ask. I mean, I want to ask you a question, man. As you know, as a male figure, you know, what I'm saying in the community, how do you hold people accountable but still protect the abuse? And what I mean by that, how do you protect, like, you know, the vulnerable people in your community, specifically women, but knowing that there are women out there who are very vindictive and who will lie, you know what I'm saying, um, about
That's
certain
where
things?
thorough investigation and performing due diligence comes into play.
Well, damn, you okay, brother?
No, my throat gets dry, man.
Okay. Get some water, brother. It sounds like you a
Get
little
some water,
under weather
too.
or something.
No, I'm good. I got some water right here.
Yeah, hit that, man. Hey, but what I'm asking you this is, how do you not come across as insensitive? Let me switch to Precious. How do you come across as not being insensitive if, like, say, for instance, you came to me and said, yeah, man, I was with my boyfriend, or this dude I'm dating, and, you know, he put hands on me. And then I'm like, okay, we got to do an investigation first.
Yeah.
I mean, how would that come across as a woman, you know what I'm saying, reporting this to a person that you think has power and privilege in your community? I'm asking Precious.
Oh, okay. Oh,
that could be tricky when it comes to that. Because again, the power dynamics is kind of what tilts the scales a bit when you're dealing with somebody like that. Now, when it comes to matters of those who already have a past, it would refer to if this person ever been reported before. I think that's how a lot of abusers tend to get away with for so long, because if that's not like a track record, what I mean by track record, I'm talking in terms of legally a track record. It's kind of hard for let's say authorities get involved for them to truly do something about it unless this person has a record. But a lot of time, unfortunately, a lot of women do not report abuse quite as kept. They don't report it. Now, is there a way to not be insensitive? Unfortunately, no, because you want to do your due diligence when it comes to that. So that way, once somebody is held accountable and responsible, you don't have to really worry about something being overlooked, something being misunderstood, or people what's what they call it, what jumping the gun a bit. But when it comes to, you could do both. You could defend them because at the end of the day, they still got abused, and the aggressor is still responsible for their actions. Now, when it comes to people who still want to date somebody knowing these sort of things, I would have to ask that. Just not to say they deserve it. I have to ask, what were you thinking? What were the idea? What was the end game of this union, knowing these things
your
going in?
motivation. Yeah.
Because as I said before, like there are people who do get in those unions out of opportunity or whatnot. There are also people who get in those unions thinking they're the exception to the rule. Like they think that, oh, what happened to the other people is not going to happen to me because I'm this, that, and the third. So you got to figure, is it under, are they doing it out of delusion or are they doing it out of opportunity? And sometimes sometimes those lines can be blurred. It could be both.
I just can't see the conversation. You have to explain to me, Precious, how a conversation would go anywhere remotely good if you told me that your significant other or a person you were dating was putting hands on you, and I said, well, what's the whole story? I can't see that going good. And I
It
can't.
wouldn't do good. If anything, your question will ask me, what have you, I said, you, if anything, you ask, have I called the police on them? Have I reported to anybody besides you? Who have I told this to besides you? Have you done anything to leave? Can you leave? How can you get out?
I want to ask y'all both this question real quick. What about, you know, what comes to mind for me is the Chris Brown Rihanna story.
Okay.
Chris Brown gets this reputation of putting hands on women. Now, I've heard that there's been other cases other than Rihanna, but I'm just dealing with the Rihanna situation. What first initially came out was that he just lumped her up, and she has the pictures to prove it, right? The black eye and all that. Then additional stuff starts coming out that she was cursing him out. She was throwing his phone. There was allegations of STD being passed to him by her that she also hits. But it was a situation where which happens too often, where the man don't report a woman hitting them, because I think in a twisted kind of way, too many men don't regard a woman as powerful enough to hurt them. Number one, so it's like not reporting that. It's just like she ain't even power enough to hurt me. If I report that, number two, it's embarrassing because like, oh man, you acting like a sucker, man. You worry about some woman hitting you, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? But it came out because they both get sides of the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said in his documentary he didn't want to report her, but it was a mutual combatant situation. So what do you do in a situation? Let's take it off of Chris Brown and Rihanna because we know this happens often, too often in our community. Let's take the focus off the celebrities and just get right down real in the community
Mm-hmm.
where you are responding to a situation physically, spiritually, emotionally, or whatever to a person who's saying they're being abused. And then you find out that this has been going on for a while. And sometimes they're initiating the contact. And that this isn't so one-sided. This ain't one-sided at all. That they both scrapping. Like, what do you do in that situation to support the most vulnerable person? Because more and more I looked at the Chris Brown and Rihanna thing, it looked like two people who were fighting. They were young, they were immature, and she lost the fight.
I don't know. I really don't know because I've never been in that situation before. So I have no idea how to even approach that. Because I'm pretty positive it really do happen like that, but I don't know how to really filter that. I don't know because I don't be in that situation. And one time a person had hit me that caused bodily harm and they feel like they have no remorse, I'm usually out the door and I don't come back. But everybody don't move the way I do. Okay. So the only thing is that obviously both of you hurt each other. So the question is why you're doing it and why haven't you left get away from this person? Like I know people like to overuse the term soul ties, but I don't think it's soul ties at all. I think it's a level of codependency that's kind of falling into play a little bit. And some people stick with what is familiar. And unfortunately, for some people, toxicity and violence is what they're familiar with. That's how they communicate. So when you have two people who are like that, kind of like that, what's that crazy toxic couple?
Christian and Blueface.
Yeah. Like that is a walking example. That's like a modern day version. I, I
Will
can't
and
because
Jada.
both of them are problematic. I think they both do harm to each other, but I don't know how to respond to that situation. I just don't know. Like it's going to be one of those situations. One of them going to have to say, "I had enough."
Yeah.
It's
Based on
going to
what
take
I've
one of them have to
studied,
do that.
based on what I've studied, people say that it's really hard to get out of an abusive relationship. And a
It
lot of times
is
people don't leave because when you try to leave and you make it apparent, that's usually when the abuse gets ramped up. And too often it leads to actual death.
correct.
So it's really hard to get out of an abusive relationship, or either that. I had a situation where I'm trying to get out of a relationship, and she said, "Oh, well, I'm going to kill myself." You get that a lot too. That's a form of abuse.
Yeah.
Or they, yeah, just extreme guilt tripping, and then to the point where you got that survivor's remorse type, feeling like you feel remorseful because you feel like you left someone behind. So
Yeah, that could very well be. And you know what? That just kind of. And here's another thing. I kind of asked this question. I've noticed people tend to, and this is not even out of a relationship that are abusive. This is relationship they know is no longer serving them. A lot of people don't want to leave it because they're afraid of karma that may come out of it if they were to leave this person. Like they're afraid if I end up leaving this person, somebody our next relationship I'm gonna get with this person gonna leave me or whatever the case may be. So they don't. I notice women tend to have this mindset a lot. So it's kind of like I think we tend to I think we tend some people who are not pragmatic in the choices that they make, they tend to create a sort of a little storyline that doesn't exist to make them stay there. They'll create something in their mind to say, I need to stay in this relationship for this reason. Although that reason is really not a good reason, or that reason don't even exist, but in their mind it does. It's a trick. It's a psychological sort of thing. I think it's so many layers to it. And again, I'm not really equipped to really go in that depth because I've never been in that situation before. I've never been in a relationship where it's that abusive that I can't psychologically leave. So,
Yeah.
but I
And
want to say this though. I think we need to be careful thinking that abusive people appear to be abusive from the jump. It usually takes a long time till you really start seeing signs of somebody's abusive. They don't do it on the first day you meet them or even on the first date. Sometimes they don't even show in the first month or two dating them. It gradually, slowly creeps up. And if you're not really careful or you're not really paying attention, next thing you know, you realize you in a full blown abusive relationship, whether it's physical or emotional or psychological. It usually starts very very small. It starts small, and then it starts gradually increasing as the relationship um lasts. So I think we need to keep that in mind. So
Sometimes.
yeah, sometime.
Too
Yeah,
many
sometime.
times we got people in our community be like, don't be getting with her. She crazy. What she did with the last dude. She threw hot grits on him. Don't be getting with him. You know what I'm saying? You know what he did to the mother of his children. And then people slowly
Yeah.
they don't listen.
And it's interesting that we're talking about this because I had a gentleman approach me at my side job trying to talk to me, but I learned that he used to talk to my coworker.
Mm,
So I was like, I don't really date people who used to date people I actually know. I just find that too weird.
mm-hmm.
So I did my own due diligence, like Waitman said, and I actually called my coworker up and asked her what's the deal with this man. And she told me a mouthful about this man, and he did some real crazy shit. That's like, I'm gonna tap out of this. I'm not even going to entertain it. And I never talked to that man. I haven't seen him again either. But again, it all depends on, do you think this will go bad? What I was saying, do you think you're the exception to the rule? I don't think I'm the exception to the rule. Yes, I think I'm a lovely woman, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be immune to whatever he had done in the past to somebody else. I don't look at myself as, oh well, I'm too like this. They ain't gonna do that to me. No, they're gonna make an example out of you as well. So yeah. So the question is, why don't people um when people are warned, is there a reason why they don't heed it?
Mm.
Is there a
What
reason?
you think? What you think, Wayman? We have children. You have two daughters. I have two sons and a daughter. Um, what would you do in a situation like? I mean,
well,
how would you go about that
already
if you
innocent.
to protect one of your children or both of your children, right?
Mhm.
And you find out that this stuff is mutual.
Well, here's the thing. Um, I recently found out about my daughter being in a situation like this, and it was mutual. And I found out it was mutual, I stayed out of it until he put his hands on around the throat. Once you put the hands around the throat, all bets are off. So I met up with him, and we worked that situation. Well, let's just say I worked that situation out with him.
Hmm. Yeah, I think if you find out that your child or a loved one or someone you care about, it could even be a coworker, it could just be a friend, it could be an associate, that you care about, and you
Well,
find out that they're abused, you should ask them what kind of support that they need, what kind of help you
Mm-hmm.
need. That's
yeah,
the first thing you should ask them.
Correct.
Because here's the deal, the support and the help that you're willing and able to give them, they may not be ready to receive it. They might not know
that's
what
usually
to do
the
with it.
case.
Let me give you a situation. It could be a situation where a person could be in an abusive relationship, saying they're getting a butt whoop, da 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 da, whoop de woo, and you immediately go into problem solving mode and say, I got, I'm saying, $500 for you to go into an extended stay, and then I can, maybe fundraise and I can get you another $1,000 to get your children on a plane to a different state, and and get some anonymous type stuff going on. They might not be ready to receive that. Go ahead. Are you raised? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, I ain't raised my hand. I also want to say when the outsiders of like if someone you're trying to help somebody, you need to be examine the situation, make sure you're not endangering yourself while you're doing this.
Right.
Like double check to make sure. Like I had some women in the past reach out to me because they were in abusive situations, and of course, like I said, did you do anything? Is there anything that need to be done, or have you already done? Like I know one of them asked if she could stay with me. I said I'm a single woman, and I'm here by myself. While I don't mind helping you, I gotta protect me first. So
Mm-hmm.
while I'm gonna let you stay here with me, we can get you somewhere safer. Cause while I
Mm-hmm.
don't think her husband knew who I was anyway. To be fair, I don't think he knew who I was anyway. But the point was, I have to make sure I am safe for me to help somebody else to bring them to safety, if that makes sense. But
Mm-hmm.
No,
again, I'm a woman, so it may be different for a man like yourself. It could be different. But for me, I have to move more. I have to move more carefully.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, I also had a situation where when you're doing this career community work and you are in a circle of friends. I had a spiritual circle some years ago, almost 20 years ago, and we got a call that there was one of our brothers um who was in a domestic violence situation. So he gave us a call and said that you know the person he was in a relationship with is cutting up and this, that, and the third. And this is a big dude. And when we got over there, it was very uncomfortable. He lifted up his shirt and pulled down his pants like in the front to show that he had a hernia. And what the point he was trying to make is that she knows that I'm injured and I'm hurting, but not a she's just not a kind person. And this is what, and it was very emotional, and to the point where he was just like feeling like then, but she was saying the same thing, like he does this, that, and the third. And so it was a mutual thing. They were both hurting each other. And when we tried to separate the two, put her in the minivan and separate, her from, what I'm saying, the children and him, so they can just get a little break to, calm down. We're at a stoplight and she proceeds to open up the door and tries to jump off the car while the car is moving. That's when I was like, yeah, I'm taking you home. I'm done.
Was
Maybe Seattle Police Department is, maybe you'll listen to him or them, I should say. But here's the deal. When you try to do some community policing, or when you try to do some community work, and the folks that you're working with, specifically black folks, don't want to listen to you for whatever reason, it's always interesting. They listen to the white people, though.
oh yeah.
Yeah, they listen to that court system. Yeah.
With that being said, would that be the correct solution? Like when both of them are, I mean, granted, we already know what to do when it's one person, but when it's both people being abusive to each other, would it be wise to call the white authorities?
I think it's wise to, because we don't want no more of our people in the system. Now, look, I'm not trying to be on this podcast and tell people, because I'm a mandatory reporter, not only in my job, but in my work in the community. I'm not trying to say ignore abuse. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? But mutual combatants is a whole different can of worms, man. It
It
really is.
is.
Even when the police show up, if you say, hey, it's mutual, they be like, hey, anyone hurt? Anyone want to file charges? Nope. Okay. I think you need to at least try to separate them. Hey, just like you breaking up a fight, but just take it a little bit, you know what I'm saying, more sophisticated way. All right, let me drive you across town and let you chill out real quick. Listen to some classical music and let's meditate. and breathe.
That's usually what they do. For what I have seen in the last couple years, the time the police did come by, it's not me, of course, but other people in my complex. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I have seen happen. They usually tape the person. I guess it all depends. In this case, they took the woman away because she was the one that was abused because
Mm-hmm.
she had like some bruises on her arm. Or so they took her away to take her somewhere else because the man who I guess her, I'm not sure was her boyfriend or husband, whatever, he was drunk and underneath the influence. So I kind
Yeah.
of wonder why they didn't take him instead of leaving her there. I kind of always wondered that, but I wonder it's because her taking her away was the safer route.
Yeah. I saw Wayman, you had your hand up, man. What'd you want to say, bro?
Well, a wise man once said, best way to avoid punch, no be there.
You said what?
A wise man once said, best way to avoid punch, no be there.
Wait, wait for the punch. Don't be there.
No. Best way, can you hear me?
Yes.
Best way to avoid punch, no be there. Have you guys never watched Karate Kid or something? Jesus Christ.
I don't
Anyway,
know what no be there means. What does that mean, man?
meaning not be there. Mr. Miyagi, you know how Mr.
If you
Miyagi
don't want to
talks?
get punched, don't be there.
Oh, okay.
Best way to
Yeah.
avoid punch is not to be there to receive it.
Yeah. Just do the translation next time. Yeah.
No, watch the movie. Anyway,
Which movie? I love a martial art. What movie that came from?
Karate Kid Part 2. But anyway,
I ain't
I
seen
say,
part two in a long time.
I
Okay.
say that only to say, we have to do, and I know people say, oh well, it's so difficult to recognize the abusive patterns early on in a relationship because usually early in a relationship both parties are on their best behavior.
Yeah.
But we need to do. I think we need to do a better job of performing due diligence, talking to family members, talking to exes. How
Mm-hmm.
is this person in a relationship?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As I've gotten older, I've found more and more that when relationships or marriages tend to go bad, we only have ourselves to blame if we don't perform the full due diligence. I don't see anything wrong with hey, it's almost like a job interview or doing a background check. I don't see
Mm-hmm.
why we can't talk to former lovers, former boyfriends, former girlfriends, talk to family members. When's the last
Yeah.
time?
Do a Yelp report on these fools, man.
For real.
I know
For
I
real.
do. I do report on so many people. It's not even funny. That's probably.
Go ahead, Precious, because we got to close out and whatnot. But go ahead. I know you wanted to say something.
I want to say that I know you mentioned family, but I personally wouldn't trust family. Here's why: because a lot of family tend to enable and protect abusers in their own family. So in all
And that
realness,
Mm.
I want to personally reach out to a family in all realness. Don't get me wrong. I am that family member who'll tell somebody the truth they ask me about any of my people. If I'm telling them the truth, but I also understand not everybody operates like I do because even when somebody is an aggressor or abusing their family, they still want to protect them. So
Yeah,
but
I think it could go both ways. I see it both ways from Wayman's point of view and your point of view, Precious. I think it's good just to document it too. If things
absolutely.
ever get to the point, I think if I told your auntie, I told your brother, none of these, I told your mama, I told your daddy, you know what I'm saying? You can't none of these people say that you didn't put hands on me or I didn't, or none of these people can say they didn't know. Stop lying.
And real quick, to address Precious's point, I think the fact that they're enabling them, if you're listening, you recognize the fact that they're enabling them. That in and of itself is a red flag.
right,
Mm.
I would say observe the family instead of telling them.
Observe the fact that they
I'd rather
are
observe the family
enabling
than
them.
tell them what he is doing because I tell people these people grew up with this person. They know how they are. They know them better than
Mhm.
anybody in the world. They know who they are. They know their temperament. They know them
If you
best.
see somebody going out of their way to protect someone's reputation or protect someone, that in and of itself is a red flag.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm. Hey, I
Yeah,
want to do a part two of this because I want to talk about, because we'll be going for a while, but I want to do a part two on this. Because I want to talk about how much does internalized racism and our trauma as Black folks have to do with the way we hurt each other, the way we abuse each other, how much of that leads to domestic violence. You know what I'm saying? Because I would say a lot. I say that the
Very
reason
little.
why when we go to work, when we don't treat our employees and our employer and our boss and our supervisor the way that we treat our loved ones is because we know we'll lose our job. And there's something about the reason why we hurt loved ones is because they're more likely to give us another chance. But it's
correct.
also, it comes down to our value system too as a people. And I think our value system has been highly compromised by the trauma that we received as historically oppressed people. But I'm not trying to be like, oh, such and such, Fun, Fundisha and Tanisha and Malik, you know what I'm saying, are beating up each other and abusing the kids because they work at Walmart and they got poor work conditions. That's not what I'm doing. Or such and such beats up on such and such because the society is racism and they suffer from institutional racism. I'm not trying to be that simplistic, but I just think there's more to this, and it points to our trauma, epigenetics, and all that. Go ahead, Wayman. Go ahead and let's wrap it up.
Okay, and and on the flip side of that, I think we have to be very careful with trying to lay the blame. I just think on institutionalized racism and white supremacy. I think at some point, I can't believe this. God, I'm sounding like Larry Elder. What the hell is wrong with me? But I do think there's a certain level of accountability about the decay within our own culture that has absolutely nothing to do with internalized racism. We just have a bad system that we need to change.
I totally agree with that.
Hmm.
Because my thing, like, I mean, I know we're talking about us as Black people, but this type of issue also in other communities as well, as they abuse. They, like, again, like this, like kind of what Elijah said. The thing they would do to their partners or their family wouldn't dare do it to somebody at work. At least not most people. They wouldn't do that
Absolutely.
work because they know there's consequences involved. And I
Well, that's your
think,
livelihood.
huh?
That's your livelihood.
Yeah, it's their livelihood. So yeah, they're not going to do anything. So it's kind of come to down to us as a people. I mean, I don't think I mean, I can see where internalized racism could come in at, but I don't think it's that big of a. I don't think it's that got that big of a foot in it compared to. I think we just have a toxic culture that we still are hanging on to that we need to dismantle. I don't think internalized racism, because even if you did, let's just say we make everybody like complex like logic cutter. Do you think those situations going to be those situations going to be down? Probably not. I'm pretty sure it's still going to be around because that's just the culture that our society has.
Yeah,
So
I
I
would
don't.
argue with that. We get our culture from directly from and indirectly from white supremacy
Right,
and
yeah,
being
sure.
victims of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I could definitely say that. That's why I say this is a problem in a lot of communities because that's kind of part of their culture. So with that being said, I think we have to really, yeah, I think this really
I
internalized
think the
thing more than
fact that,
anything.
and then we got to jump off. I think the fact that a lot of our people are more likely to cooperate with the system, the judicial system, than uh each other. I think that I think that says a lot. I think that says a lot. Like the situation I gave you. I think it says a lot. Like if you came in and try to, break up two people and they don't, and tell them not to fight and they don't want to listen to you and they continue to fight, but then some people show up with a badge and some paperwork. Then all of a sudden, oh yeah, yeah, what you want us to do? Oh, okay, bet. Okay, I'll do that. And I think some of it is regional. I think some people have better communities than others, but I think there's just too many people. Their value system is different when they're dealing with the colonial system as opposed to the community system. And that's the reason why a lot of people feel like a lot of our neighborhoods still need the police because
Yeah.
we just don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the value system to take care of ourselves. But I also think I
I
also
don't think
think
our
that's
influence is
intentional
good.
too, though. I think that's intentional too, though. But anyways, I gotta jump off. We need to do a part 2 of the dating, the list the list with relationships. We gotta do that because I still want to talk about the value of dating in our relationships. I also wanted to say, and I know you wanted to say something real quick. I wanted to talk to y'all about if you're in Seattle, December 16th in the Central District, we're having a creative kickback, an open mic, a DJ, food, networking at the Jackson Street Apartments from 3 to 7 p.m. And then January 13th, we're having a grill party experience, which is hip hop, spoken word, storytelling, theater at its finest. So inbox me if you want to have some more information about that, about vending and how to participate. So yeah, Wayman's going to be a part of it. He's going to be telling the story and whatnot. So it's going to be awesome. What you want to say before we jump off, Precious?
Shit, I think I forgot what I'm about to say. I think I forgot what I'm about to say. I probably come out after I get off it. When I get off, I probably come back. I forgot how we ended that. But
all right.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, this has been Seed Talk. Make sure you guys check us out next time. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to comment on these things and I want y'all to inbox me if y'all ever want to be on the show and whatnot. We always looking for new people to be on the show. And make sure you're sharing this and subscribing out there. All right. We love you.
Dang, he out before we were out. Golly.
Hey, real quick questions before you go. What did you think of my conversation that we were having the night before?